rate of reported rape in Texas. The rape epidemic in this world is becoming pandemic. It's not confined to one location.
Even the Muslim convert CIA Director John Brennan has declared that terrorists are using the refugee system to infest the United States. Meanwhile, Amarillo immigrant Mohammed Maghadam, who came to Amarillo 8 years ago, recently held his manager and another person hostage at gunpoint because he was passed over for a promotion for his job at Walmart. A SWAT team responded and proceeded to fatally shoot Maghadam. Was it workplace violence or a seed from a growing problem in Amarillo? Again, Amarillo refugees are creating separate ghettos with their own leaders, with their own ways of collectively non-assimilating. Refugees immediately qualify for full welfare benefits, green card status within a year, and receive full citizenship, including voting rights, within 5 years. It's as clear as the nose on your face. An invasion of our taxpayer dollars, our schools, our city budgets, and our voting booths is fully underway, driven by big business for cheaper labor and the misleading Obama administration wielding a divide-and-conquer agenda that is becoming clearer every day. Funded by, yep, you guessed it, the American people. The future of the meaning of even being a citizen of the United States is on the chopping block. John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
Young black men supporting a racist.
Thank you. Yeah, that is awesome.
That's sad.
That's awesome.
How does your parents feel about you holding a Trump sign?
Oh, they're Trump fans too.
Where they disgrace to America too, because he doesn't like you or your
All my
parents.
friends are immigrants. I have 3 friends.
Yeah, you didn't answer our question.
And they're happy.
What has he said?
He said send Mexicans back to Mexico.
No, he said
don't let Muslims here.
Yeah, he said.
Why?
Are you gonna let me talk or are you gonna yell?
No, I'm telling you because you holding this Trump sign and you need to be taught.
Educated conversation, can we? We cannot do that, right?
And then kids are telling you against your own people.
She just graduated high school, so she's not a kid no more. Okay.
What would you tell him when a racist tell him send Mexican back to Mexico? What would you tell a young black man?
I only believe that he's going to send illegals back.
Yeah, exactly.
He said in your face, send Mexican back to Mexico.
He said illegals.
Just illegals.
Illegals
only. And
please.
His wife is not legal. She's from Europe.
She's legal.
How she was born in Europe?
Okay,
why
but
would
she has
her
a US
husband be running for president?
But she has U.S. citizenship, so that's just because she was born in another country does not mean she has a legal citizenship. That's fine. You don't have to.
Real lad. If he's
and I can say the
elected,
same thing about
he
you, but I
would
would
be
not say that
against
because I have
you
a
because of
bigger
your
mindset
skin
and I'm
color,
only
young
16,
man.
and you're probably like 30-something, but
I
you're
believe
yelling
in
at a
Black Lives
16-year-old
Matter. He's against
for his
black
candidate.
people.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Go listen to him
Yeah.
speak, and he'll prove you wrong. There are many black people who support Trump.
Plenty of
We
them.
came with it.
I think his VP
So
might be
many?
black.
How many?
Oh, how about you guys at that rally? You see a lot of
Yeah,
black
we saw a
people.
lot.
You know what?
The media won't show you that though.
People in there gonna stand up against Trump.
You
More
sure,
black.
you sure about that? You sure about that?
Black people that he asked his security guards to kick out of the rally.
Oh, and Valdosta State?
Yeah.
Talking about, they were protesting against him.
Yeah, and what is that?
You
That's
cannot
shit
protest in a rally. Then why would you do that?
Why? It's freedom of speech.
We don't go to your rally. We don't go to your rally. He does the same thing to white people too. So I don't understand. He does the exact same thing to white people too. So,
and that makes it okay.
I mean, if you're gonna protest against us, yeah.
They don't let Trump supporters like freely protest.
Okay.
You should go get educated on what's important.
I'm very educated, man. I'm very educated.
We're being
Thank you.
educated.
Really
That's
sad.
why we came
Sad
here.
that you're brainwashed.
Because we learned about our
Sad. It's sad
What'd
that
you
you're
graduate with?
brainwashed.
What's your degree?
Where'd you graduate with?
That's not the question.
Yes, it is.
The question.
Are you educated in economics? Are you educated in any sort of political background?
I've worked on many campaigns, and it's so sad.
That's very vague.
It's very sad.
What campaign?
I've
very sad that
I
you're being
worked
so
for our
vague.
president twice.
Okay. One of the worst guys ever. But okay.
Oh yeah, one of the worst guys ever. Let's look at the condition of our country.
This country
8
was
years.
built on love, not hate. Donald Trump is a hater.
That's fine.
He's a racist.
He's not. He's not.
He is a racist.
He's getting
You know this country is built on religion too, not religion.
He believes in hate.
You know this country
Do
is
you
built on
know the
religion.
history of his grandfather and father? They was KK members.
This-
They own real estate
How do you
in
know that?
New York.
How do you know
Go Google it.
No, you Google it because
Go
obviously your
read the
facts are
history
very
of Donald Trump
misrepresented. You have very horrible facts. You come to me
People
with
allow black and
you
Jews
come with me to
and
lie, so I don't know if I can
properties
believe
in
that.
New York when he
I
bought
was gonna look it
property.
up for myself. So
That was his grandfather and his father was KK members.
Okay.
Go read the history.
KKK members, you mean
Yes.
not KK members?
They
I don't
was
think
Ku
that's
Klux
true.
Klansmen. KKK.
Klansmen, okay.
Who's against your color?
Okay.
Against your skin?
Exactly.
Against your people, your
I think
ancestors?
the Democratic Party founded the KKK, by the way. Just saying.
Let me tell you,
What
I'm for the
political party
people.
are you
It's
for?
not
What
because of
political party?
Democrat or Republican. I'm for the people.
Okay, that's good.
The people are united, will never be defeated.
Okay.
And that's what I believe in.
And Trump,
Donald Trump
believes
trying
in that
to
too.
divide the country.
He's not trying to divide us.
Yes, he is.
He's trying to unite us. Just because his policies are not like yours doesn't mean he's not trying to.
What you mean quality?
I said policies.
Policy.
Yes, but you're spitting at me.
When a person tell Mexicans to he gonna build a wall to send
What do you
them back
mean why?
to their
Because we have
country.
so much illegal immigration. That's why.
Look at his wife. How you think she got here?
She's legal.
She's not legal.
Yeah, she
She's
is.
from Europe.
There's a way to legally immigrate.
Exactly. Did you
She's
not know
she
that?
wasn't born
You
in
don't know
America.
that. Yes, oh my God, this is not
I'm not
good.
gonna argue with you young
grandparents.
people,
Yeah, because
but
you
will
don't know
realize
anything.
one
my
day
You need to
that
go
I'm
learn how to
telling
spell
the
your
truth
first
if you
name,
become
go to
president.
college, get a high school education, and then you come back and talk to me. Thank you.
And joining me in studio now is David Knight, and we're going to talk a little bit about the situation going on in Venezuela. The long bread lines have now turned into violent protests as people are becoming increasingly more hungry, more desperate, and I really feel as if we're not being shown exactly what's going on down there, because this is a huge warning to what we could expect here in America. Not only warnings about citizen disarmament, but also the trick of falling for this utopia of socialism.
That's right, Leanne. They've been sold the socialist utopia, and there's a newer, more subtle spin on this socialist utopia that we're going to talk about in just a moment. But I think it's truly amazing to see that as this is unfolding, and we're getting all these tales of massive privation. We see the Venezuela's top court has said the media cannot publish videos of lynchings. This is how bad the violence in the street is getting. But we've got what I think really amounts to a French Revolution moment here, where we've got Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake, and they live their life of luxury in Palace of Versailles. This is what's going on in Venezuela right now.
Right. I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. And this is, I'm always saying, if you want to know what this socialist utopia is going to look like, just watch the Hunger Games. It's a perfect idea of what, you know, the majority of us are going to be dealing with.
We got Hunger Games in Venezuela right now.
Hunger Games going on in Venezuela. So we're seeing middle-class people just like you and I who are getting desperate. They want to feed their kids, but now there are reported injuries. Hundreds of people have been arrested, at least 5 people are dead. Angry protests, breaking in grocery stores and businesses. The protesters have also attacked the headquarters of President Nicolas Maduro's Socialist Party there, and they are demanding to be fed.
Yeah, they're eating dogs and cats in the street, and yet we've got these pictures of dogs and cats who are starving as well. Dogs and cats can't get any food either.
Right, yeah, just starving dogs and cats. And then there's gangs on motorcycles who are trying to fight over the right to control the distribution of food because, of course, the population there has been disarmed. Maduro said that, you know, that had to happen a few years ago to bring peace to the country because they knew it was coming. But then here on the other side, we've got these super rich socialists here who are just living in the lap of luxury, sipping on champagne and
like $100,000 a year to stay in this country club. $100,000 a year.
Gorging on this food.
Yeah, they have no shortage of food there. Look, they saw this coming. 4 years ago, they began gun control. Last December and November, we were talking about how they were hunting policemen down in the streets to get their firearms, okay? And this is what people need to understand in this country. First of all this talk about gun control, they're doing this because they're concerned they're going to lose control. And we're going to talk about their method of control that is a soft kill that's coming up for us. That's what they talked about at Bilderberg, and we've mentioned that before. But when you look at those pictures of what's going on in Venezuela, just remember they began 4 years ago with gun control. They spent $47 million to set up 60 centers where they were going to have gun confiscation. And then after that, as we reported last November 4th, you've got the policemen, 252 security officers had been killed for their guns from January to October. That's about 25 a month being hunted down and killed. One guy, the first one they talk about in the Guardian story, 18 years in the police force. He's on his way home. He's shot. They come after him. They search him. They don't find a gun. They kill him anyway. Okay. He's got a family. This is where this is headed. And this is where people everywhere, including the law enforcement officers, need to understand where this is going. But there's another interesting article we had today, Leanne, and that was a college professor who's rejected socialism. He's traveled around the world, and he goes, yeah, I understand the theories, I understand the utopian promises, but I saw the reality. He says, I went to the USSR, Eastern Europe, China, Cuba, etc. And he said, I saw that socialism doesn't work. It's a revolutionary imposition, and it inevitably leads to cruelty, injustice, and the loss of freedom. He said, I could see the same pattern in the many failed left-wing revolutionaries in Latin America and elsewhere. I succeeded in disabusing myself of the utopian notions that fatally attract people to these leftist ideas. Now, he's learned what's going on, but of course, Bernie Sanders, or as I call him, Bernie Sandernista, he never understood. And he is indoctrinating a new generation of lugheads to follow these Pied Pipers down the path of destruction. And of course, Hillary Clinton has an advisor who hasn't learned this yet. Of course, this is a Nobel Prize-winning Joseph Stiglitz, an economist. He won the Nobel Prize during a 2007 visit to Venezuela. He said this: Venezuelan President Chavez appears to have had success in bringing health and education to the people in the poor neighborhoods of Caracas. It's not only important to have sustainable growth, but to ensure the best distribution of economic growth for the benefit of all citizens. And he still holds to that. And he is somebody who has been put on he's an influential advisor to Hillary Clinton.
And of course, he can get away with making that statement because they're controlling all the media that's coming out of Venezuela. So you can see the reality of it. And
as reported multiple times, it wasn't just gun control, but it was also product control, water, food, medicine. This article from 2 years ago, Bloomberg Press, okay, it's back June of 2014. They said, by putting off the local companies responsible for supplying everything from diapers to cancer meds, Maduro can preserve access to debt markets, and he can protect oil shipments. It would be vulnerable, okay? They say the government's priority, this is an analyst at Barclays, and he tells this to the New York Press. He says the government's priority is to pay the sovereign debt. In other words, the government's priority is not feeding its citizens. This Marxist government, this utopian Marxist government, their priority is not to feed the citizens, but to feed the bankers, okay?
Wow.
And so what we see with Bilderberg, they talked about the precariat, and I think they deliberately put this term out there because this is nothing but Marxism repackaged. But what's really dangerous about it is that they're now getting libertarian think tanks to sign on to this as well, Leanne.
Right.
And so when they talk about the precariat, remember they're talking about class warfare, the proletariat, who are now in a precarious position because of globalist policies, because of open borders, because they have shipped jobs abroad and imported workers, and people in the West are suffering from this. So how do they control these people who are getting increasingly angry? And they understand that it's not just the globalist policies, but it's also the technological changes that are down the line. Because the guy who's popularized this put this out on the Singularity Hub, talking about how automation, not just immigration, is going to take people's jobs. But this is what's scary, Leanna, and this is the fact that we've got Forbes magazine, we've got Business Insider, we've got the Wall Street Journal, and what are they pushing? They're pushing a form of socialism and dependence, the universal basic income.
Wow.
And they're selling this as the solution to these displaced and angry people who no longer have a job. And we just saw the referendum in Switzerland a week or so ago. But Forbes is saying the universal basic income idea is not crazy. Business Insider says the biggest obstacle to universal basic income has nothing to do with money. It has to do with us redefining this obsolete notion of work. Now, we've talked over and over again how they say the future does not need us. Well, yeah, the elites don't need us either. The question for the elites that they're addressing at Bilderberg is how do they pacify and control us? And I think one of the most distressing things that I saw, exactly, we have Charles Murray. This is a guy who's a noted libertarian economist. In 1984, he wrote Losing Ground, which is all about how welfare destroys people. It makes them dependent upon the government. He made a very strong analytical case. He looked at a lot of metrics over a very long period of time. It became the basis for welfare reform in the Reagan administration. And yet he is now working for the American Enterprise Institute. You would think that they would be all for promoting free enterprise and work and everything, right? It's funded by the Koch brothers. And what are the Koch brothers and Charles Murray, this libertarian economist, and the American Enterprise Unit? They're all pushing universal basic income, a form of welfare. Why? Because it will make you dependent upon them. It will pacify you. And we have seen this in the Agenda 21 policies in the Northeast that the Bureau of Land Management and the Forestry Services have done, when they said no longer will the loggers in Oregon be able to log, and we're going to just shut down that economy because the entire